Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Tellor Dev Call. Today is Monday, September 22, 2025. And we're finishing up testing for our latest release for the chain. A couple of upgrades are going to be included in this update. It's going to be, we're adding a message batch submit value so that we can submit more values at once for the reporters. And we're also adding a domain separator because you guys didn't listen. You guys continue to use the same address for mainnet and testnet. So we did a workaround to make sure that you guys don't get in trouble for doing that. We also added a function to add extra rewards so that we can start adding rewards in mid-November. And then we also added some safeguards for validators that were starting their validator with one address and then trying to, and Caleb, you can explain this better, but trying to sign void extensions with another address or something like that, and it just wasn't allowing them. So now you have to use the same address for both things. So that way you can continue to sign void extensions. Yeah, with that, let's see what we're up to. The test, Spuddy and Caleb ran a test this weekend for those updates. So how did that go, and what are you guys are up to this week, Spuddy?
My test was the simple local test where I upgrade the chain, let it run for a while, send tokens, start and stop nodes, and just make sure there's no obvious store corruption because of anything. I need to add a few more feeds to Tellor next, and then make a release of Tellor. Hasn't been a release of Tellor in forever. Akram, thank you for reviewing my giant pull request. I'm just going to be probably just doing more Tellor today.
Awesome. Thank you, Spuddy. Caleb?
I did a little bit more involved with tests, and it was weird to not see the minting so-and-so TRB, but still getting rewards. So the extra rewards definitely worked. But yeah, everything. So to elaborate more on the key thing, the key name flag in the start command, the key that you use there is only used in vote extensions. So if you put the wrong key there, your validator will be able to sign blocks, and you, as of now, before the upgrade, won't be jailed, which is why everybody is seeing those error logs in their node that says EVM addresses do not match. That's because they're trying to sign vote extensions with the key that does not match their validator key. So obviously that should not be allowed to happen, and it causes errors. So going forward, if you have the wrong setup, you will be jailed. You won't be slashed. You'll just kind of be jailed and punished with downtime until you can figure out the proper setup. There is an additional jailing event if you get jailed this way. So keep an eye out for that if that's you.
Hi, Tim. You did the domain separator fix.
Yeah, for the domain separator fix on the EVM side, we've added a chain ID for testnets to the domain separator in the bridge contract. And then there is no chain ID for mainnet bridge contracts. So that should differentiate between the two and make sure that the bridge contracts can't be confused. And it should also, ensure that the layer side isn't confused and you can't slash people for testnet attestations on mainnet. So yeah, we have those fixes in place, and we are going to be deploying some contracts to Sepolia to reflect those changes. And then this week, I have a lot of different small tweaks to make on the different monitors and the relayer, adding email alerts and a bunch of stuff.
Akram, I know you did the batch submit value, and you did a lot of the updates to the chain.
Yeah, I guess some of the messages. But right now I'm working on the index. I'm adding new entities that we talked about last week. I'll also need to handle the new messages that we added on the new update. That's one thing. And another thing is trying to add the Uniswap source. It's a little bit more complicated, so I did find the graph, so I might just have to do that. It might be simpler to get the accurate prices. The only problem with the graph is you need an API key. I don't know if that's something that's easily spent or not. I'm not sure how it's going to work with the reporter. The other option is to index.
It's really cheap.
Yeah, if it's cheap, then maybe I'll just go with that. Just use the two versions, because some of the tokens are mostly on Uniswap, like the smaller known tokens that aren't easily found on exchanges. Yeah, I guess maybe we'll have some example on how to index it. It's not. I don't think that, especially with the subquery indexer, the open source code, it's probably not that hard to index it. Maybe we'll have code that people want to not use, or they want to use their own Graph.
Brian.
Finishing up the hub revamp, so the bridge is now just one module that you can switch between. That's up already, you can see that. And then later today, I'm going to push the select reporters functionality, so you can delegate to a validator and then select a reporter with that delegated stake. And then, yeah, then I'm going to be working on the Explorer. I wanted to add, looks like we're just pulling the cycle list for the data feed, so I wanted to make sure everything was getting fed through that, and add the reporter monikers. And then I also want to get a new data points out this week.
Dan, you've been working on testing the update to the Cosmos SDK. Can you tell us about it, and then what are some of the challenges that you faced last week with testing?
We're looking at upgrading to the SDK 0.53.4 because it allows you to submit unordered transactions. Right now, there's a sequence number for every transaction, and it's pretty hard to submit multiple transactions per block. But the unordered transactions fix that. And upgrading our chain, it hasn't been too hard so far. No major issues. But as far as testing, the interchain test suite doesn't support the 53 version. So yeah, I haven't looked into that too much yet. I was working on the profitability checker towards the end of last week.
Yeah, shout out to Dan. Thank you for knocking out adding the ability to not have to sync a node.
Yeah.
Make it a little easier.
Much easier to run now, especially with UV as well. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And Dan, were you able to run the US Big Mac index scraper?
Yep.
All right.
Yep, that worked. But I did find when I was doing the profitability checker, I added tipping information, and I found some conflicting query results for what queries are tipped. So I'm looking into that. It says that there's a tip available for King USD on Palmetto, but the get tipped queries says that there isn't.
That's just because we expire the get tipped queries results after whatever number of blocks it can be submitted for.
Oh, it's just live tips.
Yeah, get tipped queries tells you what I can submit for right now and get tips for it. But once someone doesn't submit after a tip, you have to tip again. So That's what that get tipped queries reflects.
Okay, that makes sense. And I'm looking at forking the interchain tests, checking what Mantra did.
All right. Well, thank you, Dan. Nick?
I got a deep dive coming out today. I got to post it with Joseph, Cup of Joseph. We talk stable coins, so he runs a liquidity fork. We talk kind of the end game of stable coins and different things like that. It's some good spicy takes in there. It was a fun time. So yeah, be sure to watch it. Other than that, Tim, let's go deploy those testnet contracts today too. We got to do that. Make sure some things are running.
All right, then we'll see you guys next week.